Today I wanted to update the signs in my house for summer. So I went to my local hardware store and I bought a project panel. That is just a 2-foot by 4-foot sheet of plywood. Mine is 1/2 inch thick and I'll be making 13 signs out of it that are 3 different sizes. I'll also be changing up my frame just a little bit from the last time, giving it just a slightly different look than my last picture frames. So let's get started. Using the miter saw, I cut my plywood into 13 boards, 2 at 12 inches by 12 inches, 3 at 7 3/4 inches by 24 inches, and 8 of them at 5 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inch. Using 150 grit sandpaper, I sanded down all the rough edges just to make sure that it wasn't sharp to catch anybody's fingers and to make sure that the frame would fit in flush with it. I applied 2 coats of white chalk paint. Now you can use any paint that you want. I just really like working with chalk paint. It's easy to put on, it dries quick, and when you go to sand it off, it just sands down to a nice smooth finish. Next I go along all of the boards with 400 grit sandpaper just to smooth out all of the bumps that are left from the roller. This will make sure that you don't have any bleed out in your graphic when you go to paint. I also tried to make sure to get the edges just so that the frame will fit on tight. Using my Cricut machine, I created the designs that I wanted and then printed them out on vinyl. Then I take out the area that I want to paint. In this case, I'm taking off all the letters. I apply transfer paper. Now this transfer paper was not my favorite, so I will link the one that I do like down below in the description. I like to use this little tool that I found to really press it into the board. I like to use chalk paint when painting over my vinyl. I just find that the texture is a little bit thicker so that it doesn't bleed through underneath the vinyl, and it also dries really quick. I apply 2 coats, letting the first coat dry to about 80% before putting on the second coat. And then with the second coat, I just go along and make sure that no areas are really dripping with paint, and then I take off the vinyl. To make my farmhouse frame, I dimensioned my own lumber using a 1x6. Now if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can always use a 1x2 for the outside border and lattice for the inlay pieces. My outside border ended up being 1 inch thick by 3/4 of an inch wide, and my inlay pieces ended up being 1/2 inch thick by 3/4 inch wide. Using the miter saw and a stop, I cut 45s in all the boards so that they would fit together like a picture frame. When your frame is all finished, it should look something like this. You'll have your sign, you'll have 4 outside pieces, and 4 inlay pieces. To put this frame together, I started out by putting the inlay pieces in first. I applied a little bit of wood glue and held them in place with 3/4 inch brads. To attach the outside border, I used wood glue and 1-inch brad nails. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future builds.